You are Locked On Dodgers POSTCAST. Part of Locked On Sports Los Angeles on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Well, hello and welcome to the Locked On Dodgers POSTCAST on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel. I am Pete Fox, covering sports in LA dating back to 2007. Dodgers got it rolling. 3 in a row now. Nice win tonight over the Philadelphia Phillies. Just went final 5-3. Daniel Hudson came in to slam the door, and he did so in efficient fashion after giving up a leadoff single. Then 3 straight pitches on 3 straight pop-ups. The Phillies did him a big favor, not being patient, and the Dodgers get the win. 5-3. Shohei Ohtani, a big game. Tyler Glasnow was very good. At times, though, I thought a little shaky, but all in all, dominant, had very good stuff. And we'll get into all of that here on the Locked On Dodgers POSTCAST. You can also listen to us on the Locked On Dodgers podcast feed. That's where you find Jeff and Vince doing the daily podcast. You make them your first listen. You make me your second listen. And we appreciate that. Tonight's episode of the Locked On Dodgers POSTCAST is brought to you by Prize Picks, the easiest, most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnMLB and use the code, all lowercase, LockedOnMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. So the Phillies roughed up the Dodgers when they were in Philadelphia, and that was the start of a very, very abysmal stretch for the Dodgers that lasted 6 games, that started that really bad streak on the road. They got swept in Philadelphia at Citizens Bank, then they went into Detroit, dropped 2 of 3 there. 2 of those games, I believe they blew leads in both of those games late for those 2 losses against the Detroit Tigers. And they went into the All-Star break, and we were all very happy and welcoming of the time off. They come out of the break and win 5 of 6, and we're thinking it's all good. They go back out on the road. It starts to fall apart again. So the win against the A's, the series win in Oakland, hopefully has gotten the Dodgers back in a good feeling. And I think a big part of today, and I've been saying this over the last 8 games since we lost Freddie because of the family emergency, excuse me, the second Freddie and Mookie get back in there, it's really going to be helpful for the Dodgers. They're going to find some energy and some mojo and not feel like any one of these guys has to do it all. And those guys being the top of the lineup, being Shohei Ohtani and Will Smith and Teoscar Hernandez. So merely having Freddie around has been or appears to be beneficial already, because Teoscar had a nice game. Shohei Ohtani, a couple of hits, a home run and a double, 2 RBI. Every time I forget to bring water in here, I go, I'll be fine. And then I need water and I don't have any. I got some rum. I don't know that would do any good. It's more ornamental than anything. I'm more of a bourbon guy. I got bourbon too, but again, I don't know that would do any good right at this moment in time. Let's see here. Dodgers could be celebrating right now, having a little bourbon after a nice win over the Phillies, who are now 66-46. Dodgers, their 66th win as well versus 47 losses, and they are 15 games over 500 at Chavez Ravine. As for the standings, because as we narrow in on 50 games to go in this season, we need to know where they are and how they fit in against the rest of the National League West. Both the Diamondbacks and the Padres right there hanging with the Dodgers. Wins tonight. They've won back-to-back games, both the Diamondbacks and the Padres. They've won 8 of their last 10, and the Dodgers have won 5 of their last 10, but more importantly, 3 in a row. I think that's what we feel good about at this point. We also feel confident that Tyler Glasnow came out and was dominant. It was really an interesting, strange game for him, because it kind of felt like it should have been more dominant. the reason I said it was a little shaky was not because of the 2 runs he gave up in the second, because that was really all on Andy Pages's shoulders. The ball that he misplayed and turned into a triple should have been caught. And if it was, I believe Glasnow gets out of that frame unharmed, and then gives up the 1 in the 6th potentially. He gave up, all in all, the Dodgers gave up 8 hits. Glasnow gave up 5 of those 8, 3 runs, but he struck out 9. And I think that was probably the most dominant portion of his night. Was he would get into little jams and then just bring some wicked heat and command and control. And the slider was working, and it was all good for Tyler Glasnow, except for a little, that one little period there in the second. Again, if Andy Pages catches that ball, I don't think anything happens, but he did give up a few back-to-back hits right there. Stott reached, then Stott scored on a wild pitch. So he got a little shaky there in the second inning, giving up a few hits, but he worked out of it. And in the end, it was not a big deal. From Rumor Spencer, or Rumar, huge victory, 1 down, 2 to go. Tyler Glasnow, 9 strikeouts. Kopech got the strikeout. Banda 2 strikeouts. Of Bryce and Marsh and Hudson had defensive help. Great game. Teoscar and Shohei with homers. That sums it up right there. There was a lot to like in this game for the Dodgers. Ultimately, a 5-3 win. Shohei hits home run number 34 and a double as well. Teoscar 1 for 4 with a couple of RBIs. Freddie returns, and the Dodger fans were unbelievable. I got a little choked up right there. I don't know how you felt about that, but when Freddie came up in the bottom of the first, his first at bat, standing ovation that went on for maybe a minute, 30 seconds at least. And he took off his helmet, put his hand on his heart. And I was just like, oh my God, I'm going to lose it right now. Cause that was just really, really nice to see. And it's gotta be tough. It's really a tough thing when a small child is in the hospital for an extended period of time. I mean, knock on wood, I've been lucky that my daughter, who's 12, has never spent any time even in the hospital, like at the urgent care for like an ingrown toenail. I think is as bad as it got. So when you think about Freddie and Maximus, he's like 3 or 4 years old. He's got some neurological thing going on. It is just frightening and has to be overwhelmingly stressful. And for him to, be able to come back, that had to be a relief. And to get that ovation from the fans had to feel really, really good. So the fact that he came back and put a hit up also was awesome. That just felt really good for the Dodgers and for Freddie Freeman. So this was a solid win. And I really feel like Kopech's addition to the bullpen is motivating and inspiring some of the other guys. But more than anything, just Kopech, in a vacuum, that guy is lights out. I just feel so confident when he comes in. He's bringing it up there, high 90s, 99. Did give up a base hit on a 99-mile-an-hour fastball, but then worked out of it real quickly right after that. Went just the 1 inning and the 1 hit. He had 1 strikeout on 15 pitches, but just looked really, really dominant. And to beat a guy like Aaron Nola, Mr. Seabad thinks he looked great, not great. Great, not great. I think we could say that about both starters. Tyler Glasnow was great, not great as well, but a little bit greater was Glasnow, who got the win. Now 9-6. Nola suffers the loss, 11-5. He went 6, gave up 4 runs on 8 hits and struck out 4. The Dodgers put up a total of 9 hits in the win, and the Phillies had 8. So all in all, a complete victory for the Dodgers offensively and defensively. And I think another huge feather in their cap in this win is coming from behind against the Phillies team that really just whooped their ass up and down the baseball field in Philadelphia. The Dodgers were just humiliated and embarrassed in that 3-game series at Citizens Bank. So they had to come into this one with one of two mindsets. We need to make up for that performance in Philadelphia, or, let's not do that again. Or, potentially in the back of their mind, they were a little bit worried, but I feel like the momentum that came from the Oakland series was beneficial tonight, that they got some wins. They got some offensive firepower rolling, and they were able to keep it rolling tonight. And yes, Nando, Shohei did impress me tonight. He looked very, very good. And I think that's why I get frustrated when he looks bad, because we know what he's capable of. Look on point tonight. No strikeouts, home run, 2 hits, and a double. So, yes, a very solid A+ performance from Shohei Ohtani. We'll hit the break, come back and do the Diamond Dogs list. Dodgers with a 5-3 win to extend their winning streak to 3 in a row. I'm Pete Fox. This is the Locked On Dodgers postcast on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel, the place to hang out when every game is done. You can also listen to us on the Locked On Dodgers podcast feed. We thank you for making us your home for the Dodgers. Your first listen earlier in the day, you check out Jeff and Vince. You make me your second listen here on the postcast right after the game. It's the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Tonight's episode of the Locked On Dodgers postcast is brought to you by Liquid IV. When you're taking in America's pastime, don't forget to hydrate with Liquid IV. Popsicle firecracker flavor, a surefire summer hit. Get hydrated with electrolytes, essential vitamins, and clinically tested nutrients from the #1 powered hydration brand in America, because baseball and summer go together like Liquid IV and indulgent hydration. Water's good. I love water, especially when you're, it's hot, a nice cold glass of water, or, if you got like the walled Stanleys. That's the best. Only thing that makes it a little bit better sometimes, I get tired of drinking just regular water unless I am absolutely out of gas and dehydrated. So I always find just flavor to put in there. But if you can put this kind of stuff, get the flavor and the benefits, that's awesome. Tear, pour, live more. 1 stick plus 16 ounces of water hydrates better than water alone. Powered by Live Hydroscience, an optimized ratio of electrolytes, essential vitamins, and clinically tested nutrients that turn ordinary water into extraordinary hydration. 3 times the electrolytes of leading sports drinks, 8 essential vitamins and nutrients. Always non-GMO, vegan, gluten-free, dairy-free, and soy-free. No more thirsty summers when you indulge in hydration with Liquid IV. Get 20% off your first order of Liquid IV when you go to the Liquid IV website, which is liquidiv.com, and use the code MLB at checkout. That's 20% off your first order when you shop Better Hydration today with the promo code MLB at liquidiv.com. All right, Dodgers with a nice win. Really nice. Confident building win there over a very good team in the Philadelphia Phillies. 5-3 the final. They said the Phils have been scuffling a little bit. Went to look that up and then got sidetracked on where the Dodgers were. They've dropped 2 of their last 10. I'm sorry, they've won 2 of their last 10, dropping 8 of 10. So the Phils are definitely in a bit of a tailspin. So I guess I really shouldn't be terribly upset when the Dodgers are in a funk on the road. It could always be worse, but my job is not to analyze every other team in the league. My job is to analyze the Dodgers, because we could always talk about teams that have it worse, but that's not what I do. Like, for example, the Chicago White Sox, who are 27-88, 41 games out of first place, and they've dropped 21 in a row, which is the second longest losing streak in the history of baseball. So you have to feel that part of the reason that Kopech is performing is that he was just so excited and elated to get out of the south side of Chicago and be on a team that is relevant, that is making noise and making a run at winning a World Series. So we are happy to have him, and we appreciate his energy. It appears you guys do too as well. Mark says Kopech is electric. Mr. Seabad, Kopech, the king of the hair bun. My daughter called him a low rent Justin Turner because of the beard. We got Kershaw tomorrow. Some positivity for Kershaw. Yang Yi says he will rebound tomorrow. I hope you're right, because he looked awful last time out. But I feel like Kershaw is definitely better at home for sure. I don't know that it will be as good as his first time out. Hopefully they can get 3 or 4 out of him, and the offense can put up some runs and then turn it over to the bullpen. But if he starts giving up home runs right out of the gate, that's when I'm going to start to get worried, because look, this Philadelphia Phillies team has got a lot of firepower, and the Dodgers tonight, a big part of this win for them was keeping some of the big bats down. Trey Turner 0 for 4. Schwarber was 1 for 3 with a walk and a couple of Ks. And that base hit came after an 0-2 count. So he worked his way back. Nice at bat for Schwarber there. But Harper 1 for 4, no damage there. He struck out 3 times, and Baum was 0 for 3 until late in the game, and he had just 1 hit. Marsh was 0 for 4 as well, and Castellano a pair of hits. So the top 5 in the lineup, 3 hits total. Just 1 run scored from those guys and 1 RBI from Baum. So that's a nice job from the Dodgers to keep those guys in check. The bottom of the lineup actually did more damage. Castellanos again with a pair of hits. Stott had 1 with an RBI. Hayes had 2 hits, newly traded, acquired by the Phils, and Stubbs an offer. So 5 hits by the bottom of the lineup, 3 from the top. So if the Dodgers can keep that going, which is no small task, I think it's going to be really good for them. It was also good that Tyler Glasnow came into this game and struck out the side. Again, he was dominant early, and when he got ahead in the count, the slider was working. He started off with a couple of fastball Ks. Then it was slider. He mixed in a curve and then a couple more sliders. So he really had good command of the slider tonight. The wild pitch, of course, thrown in there. That came on a slider as well. Down and dirty, and it just couldn't. Will Smith just couldn't get behind it, and can't criticize him too much. He usually is a brick wall back there. I am like wall. Can't remember what goalie said that. It was the San Jose Sharks goalie way back in the day. I am like wall. And that's the way you think about Will Smith most of the time. He is like wall back there. Doesn't let too much get past him. But Gavin Lux continuing to hit a 10-game hitting streak. And they pointed out tonight, which I thought was interesting because I kind of forgot, because that series against the Phillies, there wasn't a whole lot to feel good about. That was just frustration and disgust, I guess, would be the best way to describe my 2 major emotions watching that series. But all of Lux's recent success started in that Philadelphia series where he's batting, well over 300. And as I said, a 10-game hitting streak continues to roll tonight as he was 2 for 3. So let's get to the Diamond Dogs list because it is filled with good stuff. And we'll start at number 5 like we always do. There's more than 5, of course, because we had a variety of offensive displays today. Gavin Lux, a 1-out single on a change that was away. So it was a really nice piece of hitting for him to drive that ball up the middle. He's been more comfortable of late with balls on the middle to in. So when he gets one away that he can still handle, that's always nice to see. For number 4, also Gavin Lux, a leadoff double in the 4th. And the great part about that was, first of all, he just laced that ball. It was the bat speed was overwhelmingly quick. And then he hustled it into a double. So I really loved seeing that. For number 4, Hayward, a leadoff double in the 3rd. For number 3, Pajes had an RBI double in the 3rd. It was a really nice, about a 9-pitch at bat for him. He fouled off a bunch and then got one down and in. So he kept himself alive and got one down and in. Now he's still swinging out of his pants, from his shoe tops, trying to hit one over the fence with an 0-2 count, but he got it done. And that's the main goal. So congratulations, even though I would like to see, more of a contact swing from him every now and then. He has done it, but we haven't seen it recently. It's just been one swing for him. He is trying to hit the ball out of the park or off the wall, and that's really about it. And he did it tonight, so congratulations. For number 2, Teoscar Hernandez, his 24th home run. It came in the 3rd inning. It was a 2-run shot, and it came off of a first pitch curveball. And for number 1 tonight, it was Shohei Ohtani. First, the 1-out double down the line in right, and then the leadoff homer in the 8th, number 34, just barely got out of Dodger Stadium into the pavilion. 384 feet, came on a 1-0 change. Again, the 34th homer for Shohei Ohtani. He mixed in a stolen base, which I believe is his 32nd. So he continues to add to his 30-30 season for the Dodgers in a 5-3 win over the Phillies. Again, they're now 66-47, 35-20 at home, and still 5 games up in the West on the Diamondbacks and Padres, who both won tonight. I'm Pete Fox. This is the Locked On Dodgers postcast on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel, the place to hang out when every game is done. Locked On Podcast Network is your team every day. You can listen or you can watch us. If you choose to listen, wherever you find your podcast, go to the Locked On Dodgers podcast feed. That's where you'll find the postcast and Jeff and Vince doing the Locked On Dodgers daily podcast. We'll take the final break. When we come back, we'll get into a little bit more of the success, the goodness of this game, the warm feelings that we're feeling right now for this Dodger team with a really nice win over the Phillies. I don't think that there's much negativity going on at all right now, and that's a good place to be because we've had plenty of it of late. So we'll heap some more praise on this Dodger team after a 5-3 win over the Phils. Tonight's episode of the Locked On Dodgers postcast also brought to you by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is America's #1 fantasy sports app with over 3 million members. They're the easiest and most exciting way to play DFS. It's just you against the numbers. You pick more or less on 2 to 6 players and their stat projections for the game, total bases, strikeouts, things of that nature when it comes to baseball. As you know, I like to bet on tennis. Now that the Olympics tennis tournament is over, I don't know. I don't know what's next. Have we done the U.S. Open yet? I don't think we have. So that's coming up, and I'm excited for that. There in Flushing Meadows, I'll definitely be wagering or placing some projections on the U.S. Open, which is right around the corner. You also got the Demons and Goblins. The Demons pay a little bit more. So if you set up a projection with 4 Demons, you could win up to 100 times your money. Or if you're a little less risky like me, you can get some Green Goblins, which make it a little bit easier. They also have promotions like lowering stat projections on Tuesday. And on Fridays, you can get your entry fee back if you lose. Quick deposits and easy withdrawals make Prize Pick an easy website and app to deal with on some of the business aspect. Get your initial deposit in, super painless for me. And your withdrawals are also easy and hassle-free. You get that $100 bonus if you deposit $100 using the code prizepicks.com/lockedonmlb. Again, prizepicks.com/lockedonmlb. You can get a first deposit match up to $100. So go to prizepicks.com. Use that code LOCKEDONMLB and get a first deposit match up to $100. PrizePicks.com. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy. The Dodgers with a 5-3 win today, taking care of the Phils, even though they fell behind. So a come from behind win. And that feels good because there were plenty of times where I think when the Dodgers were in that, 4-2, then it was 4-3, and then the bullpen's coming in, and we're like, whoa, I don't know if I love this. I don't know if I love this. And then a couple of times, the Dodgers, this is not just tonight. I've written it down on my notes a few times. I just have failed to mention it, but again, it's driving me crazy the bad strike calls that go against the Dodgers. Now, I will say they had one or two go in their favor, but I feel like more often than not, the ball's out of the Will Smith struck out on one that was a good 3 inches out of the zone. And it happens all the time where they're standing there looking at the umpire going, are you serious? And then they shake their head and walk off because they don't want to get thrown out of the game. But the bad calls that the Dodgers get on a regular basis, mainly based on catchers framing. And I know that some of you are like, oh, framing's cool. And framing is, it's a skill. And I get all of that, but I don't think it's fair. And it seems to go against the Dodgers all the time, right? That they're just getting bad calls against them on strike three. So fortunately tonight, it seemed like it kind of evened out in the end because they got a few as well, but it just gets frustrating when you're like trying to get some momentum, trying to get things rolling. And you there's a bad strike three call and a ball that is outside of the zone. And, the announcers, Joe and what's her? I always forget her damn name. I have to write it down because I always forget her name, but they always go, well, that was a ball. That was bad. They pointed out and they are definitely aware of it, but I don't think they make too big a deal of it because there's nothing you can do about it. It is what it is. What's Mark saying here? Mark says, we are thankful for the analysis you don't give us. Okay. I don't know what that means exactly. I'm sure I said something that was a little bit too in-depth. Pete, what's the over under on how many runs Kershaw gives up tomorrow? I don't know. Not allowed to say over under, Nando. It's above and below. I would probably think that his above or below would be, well, don't they base it on his ERA? It's a very good question. So his ERA is 4.5, 5. What is his ERA? His ERA is 5.8. So it's probably right around 4, maybe 3 in that neighborhood. I would say that they would give him an over under for tomorrow against Christopher Sanchez. So let's hope that he comes out and dominates early, bangs out his 3 or 4 innings, and then, turns it over to the bullpen. Unless he's got the slider and the curveball working again, because last time out, his first outing, it looked pretty good. Another thing that looked good tonight was Bonda. You had the leadoff walk there in the 8th. That's when I think we were all a little bit uneasy, but got out of it. So I think that's just like Daniel Hudson, got into that jam, wasn't a big jam, just gave up a base hit, but then bang, 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 game over. So, that's also a very good feeling that they're able to build confidence when they get into jams and then they work out of them. Bonda with 2 big strikeouts there, the slider down and away that, they were fishing for. So that was just a fantastic performance from the bullpen. 1 inning from Kopech, 15 pitches. Bonda again, 21 pitches, got into a tiny bit of a jam, and then so did Hudson, but he still worked out of it quickly with just 11 pitches to get out of there with no harm done. So all in all, a fantastic performance top to bottom, offensively, defensively, no errors except for the misplayed ball there by Pajes, but it was not an error. They called it a triple. But it was definitely a ball that he could have caught. I believe most Outman probably would have had that ball. So Andy Pajes still needs a little bit of improvement defensively, but fortunately it didn't cost the Dodgers the game. It didn't, rear its ugly head later in the game. They worked past it pretty quickly, grabbed the lead, and then never relinquished it. And that is credit to the bullpen and Tyler Glasnow, who again gets his 9th win, going 6. Great command tonight. Gave up 5 hits on 91 pitches, 3 earned runs, but struck out 9 and was dominant early. And I think that kind of set the tone for the Dodgers. And even when he got into that little jam there in the second, where he had 3 or 4 batters get on in a row, It almost seemed like he was a little frustrated with the situation that happened on the play with Pages, and he got lost focus for a little bit, but then got it back very quickly, worked through the next 3 innings and 4 innings rather, had no more problems, no more issues, and took care of business to get the win on 91 pitches with 9 Ks. So a stellar performance from him and the Dodger offense as well. Home runs for Teoscar Hernandez and Shohei Ohtani. And all is well in the world now that Freddie Freeman is back in the lineup and anchoring first base. Sorry to see you go, Kevin Biggio. You did a very nice job. We appreciate your participation, but much rather have Freddie. And hopefully, you'll make it back at some time, because I do think you are he's a solid bench guy, pinch hitter, defensive guy. He did a really good job at first base. So I got nothing negative to say about Kevin Biggio, but I'd much rather have Freddie Freeman over there. So it's nice to have him back. 5-3 win for the Dodgers, now 66-47, 35-20 at home. The Phils are 66-46, having dropped 8 of their last 10 after this loss. Again, 5-3 the final. Dodgers and Phils will go at it again tomorrow. We'll be back right after the game to break it down for you. We'll be doing the crossover with Mark from Philly, as we did when the Dodgers were in Philadelphia at Citizens Bank. So be sure you're here right after the game as we will break it down. Clayton Kershaw will get the start for the Dodgers. So thanks for watching us here on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel, and for listening on the Locked On Dodgers podcast feed. Have a good night. We'll talk tomorrow right after the game.